Buenos dias. We're 44 days out from Cosmoverse 5, the 5th edition, coming to Split, Croatia, late October. And if you are still on the fence on whether you should come or not, I highly recommend you. Of course, I'm biased. Split is an amazing city. We have discounted rooms, but also tickets available right now at 69 USD that you can get. If you have been a loyal Cosmoverse attendee, you even get it for $39, which includes food and beverage for all 3 days. And discounted rooms are still available at 105 euros per night that you can book through our website right away. So plan your trip, make it out to Croatia. It's going to be worth it. It is going to be a bit of a different vibe this year because also crypto is shifting more towards the institutional rails. And I think specifically for Cosmoverse, we're now seeing a lot of banks participating, institutions. You can see the European Central Bank is there. Revolut Europe is going to be there. Regulators from Serbia, from Bosnia, European Crypto Initiative, which means MiCA experts, which is really also one of our big themes this year, is policy meets protocol, as crypto is getting more and more merged with the traditional financial world. And that's just inevitably going to happen. But of course, we also have the top Cosmos projects, Cosmos leadership now with Cosmos Labs, Starknet that is also about to implement IBC, Kronos, Polygon, and a lot more. So check this out. Check out our speakers lineup to see who is coming, and also check out the tracks that we have. We have a Cosmos track, of course, enterprise track, stablecoin, 𝗟𝗲𝗿 tokenization, but also more technical ones like ZK and privacy, DeFi. We have a Bitcoin track this year as well, EVM, and many more. So that's Cosmoverse. In fact, we also just announced the next wave of speakers, and this lineup really reflects what we want to do this year. Policy meets protocol. We have Chain Yoda colliding with 𝗪𝗓𝗄 from the European Central Bank. We have 𝗪𝗵𝘁 that has also been at Cosmoverse in Istanbul back in 2023 with the head of policy from the European Blockchain Association, 𝗟𝗵𝗿𝗄𝗍. So a lot of diversity, a broad mix, and exactly that dialogue needs to happen this year in crypto, but specifically also in Cosmos. Because in the end of the day, these large institutions are going to launch products on chain, right? They're going on chain. Everyone will be going on chain. And I think it's better for them to explore launching on a sovereign blockchain framework that is interoperable with the rest of the ecosystem. And that is exactly where Cosmos comes in. That's exactly what Cosmos represents and what we at Cosmoverse also want to enable, to have that dialogue. Also, breaking news, as we have just announced our lead media partner with Bloomberg Adria. So Bloomberg is going to be on site at Cosmoverse, conducting interviews on ground with high-profile attendees, speakers, and everyone that's just interesting in that region and from that region. So we're very proud to be working with Bloomberg Adria. We have had a couple of meetings with them over the past few weeks, and they are well represented in Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, also North Macedonia. So we'll have coverage in all of those countries and many more. And we're very proud to be collaborating with Bloomberg Adria for Cosmoverse 2025 as our lead media partners. And also big shout out to everyone that participated in our Cito Perps Wars competition. $4,000 were distributed already to the winners. And the top winner here generated a P&L of $3,492. Rank 2 got a P&L of 927 and rank 3 500. So the bad news is that this competition is over. The good news, we have another competition coming up. Next week, we'll start with the registration phase, and you have to make sure that if you think you can outperform these traders, these numbers, that you register, because there is going to be a 1-week registration phase, and after that, there's going to be a 2-week trading phase. So don't miss that opportunity. We even have ranked 4 to 10 that also have won prizes here, and everyone already got their money, right? This is in USDC. So yeah, thanks everyone that participated, and those that missed out or want to do it again, then keep an eye out for upcoming announcements, because we'll have the second round coming shortly. Now, covering some news from the ecosystem, Provenance, that you are likely familiar with if you've been to Cosmoverse last year, if you've been following the channel, because Provenance is a full-on Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain that is the underlying infrastructure for Figure Technologies or Figure Markets, which has just completed their IPO on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. So Figure is the ticker FIGR. That is now trading on the Nasdaq since a week. And there was also some Twitter exchange between the Cosmos Twitter account that congratulated the Figure team and Provenance, and also Provenance saying the same, returning the favor. They're actually underneath very excited, and they really understand Cosmos from the aspect that it's pioneered the Epstein thesis, that has pioneered the concept of sovereignty and interoperability. And they have a $17 billion in tokenized assets. So $17 billion in equity that is tokenized on the Provenance blockchain, which kind of makes it a leader for RWA infrastructure. And the hash token is also now ranked in the top 100 on CoinGecko. So Provenance, definitely one to keep an eye on, to follow along. And of course, we'll be doing that here on the Crypto Cito channel, on the Cito Zone channel, and also with Cosmoverse as well. Another project to keep an eye on that you're also very familiar with if you've been a loyal subscriber and viewer of the channel is Toki Finance, project based out of Japan, also with members here in Dubai. And Toki has now also integrated IBC and made it compatible with the OP stack. So it's now compatible with the Optimism, which also means with Base that is also using the OP stack, and also Uniswap's chain. So more and more interoperability, IBC is getting out there, which is very important, especially in times like these when the market is just going sideways, going down for most altcoins. Of course, there are some outperformers, Hyperliquid, Pump.fun, Solana ecosystem, right? All these coins are pumping, but Cosmos right now is just not, it's just not our turn, right? And we have to admit that, we have to recognize that. We have to be patient and wait our turn. But the infrastructure underneath is improving, not only because Toki has launched IBC now on Optimism after launching it also on Ethereum and also on BNB chain, not only because they also have this partnership and collaboration with Keplr, which also did a bit of a rebranding here, zero fee transfers. Then also they have a point system for Toki because the Toki token is not yet live. So that's one thing. But also we're seeing now 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗁, which is really the premier place where I'm swapping my tokens nowadays, that plugs into all Cosmos DeFi underneath, all Cosmos DEXs underneath, primarily Osmosis, of course, which still is the biggest DEX in Cosmos. But they also now have their own explorer. So 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗁 has its own explorer now, shipped by Cosmos Labs. Big shout out. We talked about the rebrand in the last video. And now also 𝗬𝗵𝗿𝗁 has its own explorer. You can check any chain here, which makes it a nice alternative to Mintscan that had a bit of a monopole here, a bit of a, basically no competition when it comes to explorers, when it comes to on-chain analytics. As I mentioned, Keplr did a rebrand following also Cosmos Labs rebranding from Interchain Labs. I also saw someone commenting on the last video that, it's a 15th rebrand, it's not going to change anything, which is true, right? It's like not going to fix anything. We need solid product launches that attract liquidity again, that also pump Atom again. Atom has lost more and more rankings. It's now ranked 68 or even 70. So it's definitely very, very cold right now. Something really needs to happen for Atom, but I think a lot of things are in the works. From what I'm hearing, and I don't have any concrete insights here, but from what it feels like, from what I'm hearing, I think there are some things that are cooking right now that will come out soon. But of course, we have to wait and see. From my view, of course, I'm still a cosmonaut. I still believe in the ecosystem, in the philosophy. I still hold Atom. I still hold Osmo. But at the same time, I'm also, of course, not blind to the fact that, it's been underperforming a lot. And I'm also, invested into other ecosystems. I still have a decent position in HBAR, Hedera, talked about this a lot as well. Also in other chains that are not as much identifying with Cosmos, right? Like Parachain, for example, or SAGA Network as well. But anyways, that's maybe something for a different video. Today, we want to also share some more updates on Cosmos projects and Cosmos tokens, like Celestia, for example, which has also now shipped an upgrade V6 on the testnet. So Matcha is here, which cuts the inflation in half from 5% to 2.5%. So staking rewards will be lower, but they also are scaling their blocks. We actually did a full deep dive on Celestia just 2 weeks ago or something. Stavmas from my team has done a fantastic deep dive video on TS Tokenomics as well, on their scaling bottlenecks that they have right now, but also on the ecosystem adoption, those kind of things. And of course, the on-chain revenue and economics, which is very, very important. But yeah, Matcha is one step closer to what Stavmas has explained in the video, and I strongly recommend you watching that one. Now, we have another mainnet launch in Cosmos. Welcome Lumera, that is now live, Lumera protocol that is live on Mainnet with 35 validators. We're not one of them with Cito. However, they have reached out to us and they will see, we'll collaborate sometime in the future. But Lumera, formerly known as Pastel Network, is now live on Mainnet. Congratulations. And always good to see new chains launching in Cosmos. You can read all about it on their website, lumera.io, on what they're doing they're optimized for AI data. It's also an infrastructure project. But yeah, they're live on Osmosis, and yeah, you can read all about it on their website. Also, updates from SAGA as we talk about tokens, airdrops, and those kind of news. SAGA has announced that they're also going to launch a stablecoin. So D is a ticker, the SAGA dollar that is coming. And yeah, actually we have a call with the team today, so we'll probably learn more about that that stablecoin. But also the staking rewards are now coming from the community pool. So they have basically entirely replaced their proof of stake algorithm with in some sense kind of proof of governance, right? Because now the rewards are paid out from the community pool or from the on-chain treasury, which is mostly managed by the SAGA Foundation. So that counts for both staking rewards for delegators, but also for validators. That is now pegged to metrics, which is something we're seeing more and more, also from a validator's point of view, right? You have to have a certain uptime threshold, contributions, technical stuff that you do, non-technical stuff that you do. That is all factored in, and based on that performance, you will get compensation or rewards for being a validator. So Neutron has done that. Now SAGA has done it. Parachain is doing it. I think more and more we'll see experimentation with that, right? Celestia obviously announced a proof of governance, which is even more radical than what SAGA did, but it's also in that direction. Anyways, if you want to claim your SAGA tokens, then read this thread from Tony, who also left a link to this 𝗪𝗵𝘁 or Merkle claim page dashboard, where you have to go to. You have to connect your EVM address, the one that you registered a couple of weeks ago. If you have been watching this channel closely, then you are definitely aware that there was a registration phase. And yeah, then you can claim your rewards. And speaking of claiming rewards, there is a new airdrop on the horizon, the one from Intento Network, that you can check your eligibility for. I haven't done it yet, but we talked about their token sale on StreamSwap, which in my view is the best way to launch a token in a most decentralized, community-focused way. But if you hold Bad Kids, Mad Scientists, 𝗪𝗵𝘁, then you should be eligible for the Into token drop. Finally, we have the Anoma tokenomics that were revealed. XAN is the ticker. The total supply is 10 billion, and there will be a hard cap of 10 billion. You can see the full tokenomics distribution right here. And this is following basically a very standard token release schedule, I would say. Nothing too crazy here from the brief time that I've looked at this. But Anoma is definitely more anticipated, I would say, on crypto Twitter. Also, if you kind of gauge the sentiment compared to Namada, which is basically the same team, or at least a very similar team. The Namada token launch was not as successful. I have actually not even checked the market cap or performance in recent weeks. But let's see what Anoma does, what the XAN token does. They're not specifically mentioning airdrops here, just like marketing, community, and liquidity, which is 1/4 of the supply. Incentives for current and future Anoma community. I think they also have this Kaito campaign going on. But yeah, we'll see what this means, where this token lands, and if we as cosmonauts are also eligible for the airdrop. Now, finally, I want to leave you with a note from Lex. And my thoughts after reading this is that truer words have barely been spoken. Lex is saying that a lot of people are leaving Cosmos to chase liquidity, but there's something that's missing. And what he's basically saying is that, yes, Cosmos is not in the best position, but at the same time, you have a lot less competition because everyone is chasing liquidity on Hyperliquid on Solana, but you also have a lot more, exponentially more projects to compete with, right? And of course, there are some projects that the pivot has worked out fine, but most projects, it didn't change anything, right? A pivot to another ecosystem is not going to magically bring you product market fit. It's not going to magically bring you users or liquidity or anything else, right? You still have to have a product that people demand. And he's also correctly saying that the whole point of IBC is to abstract away the whole problem about fractured liquidity, fractured communities. And that's exactly what it is, right? And I fully agree with that. I think Lex is one of the few people that is still in Cosmos, that is not much engaged in any of that drama, which I think is cool. And he's also saying, I mean, the more you pivot, like you always will be looking for a home, right? And I think in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? We're at a point also now where interoperability is getting more and more common, is getting more and more standardized. And the whole thesis of Cosmos's app chain theory and the concept around sovereignty, interoperability is not only like catching on, but it's like well established at this point. You see Tempo launching their own chain, Stripe launching their own chain with Tempo that is built on a Cosmos SDK, highly likely at least. And they're not out there saying like we're on Sui, we're on Cosmos, we're on Ethereum. Like in the end of the day, that's the end game for Cosmos. And I think once that really clicked for me, I think for me personally, like there's no way that I'm ever going to doubt this thesis, right? Because it's already playing out. And whether Atom is going to $100, Osmosis is going to make it, whether all these OG Cosmos coins are going to 100x, like no one knows, right? But I think the whole point of Cosmos, the Epstein thesis, interoperability, sovereignty, that's the core of it. And I think that's what people are not fully understanding sometimes. Lex does, and I think that's cool. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do you still believe in your Cosmos tokens? How do you view Cosmos as a whole playing out? And yeah, hopefully we'll see you at Cosmoverse late next month. We're 44 days out. Book your trip, get your ticket, and I'll see you there. Until then, stay safe and be good.